Welcome to the Tier List 3, the third part, where we're going to be talking about the third category that I have not spoken about yet, which is supports. And I will do my best to keep it concise. We will place the supports based on how easy it is for them to do damage, how easy it is for them to do healing, how survivable they are, and how much effort it is to do everything. Obviously, to start off with a very easy one, Moira. Moira absolutely is choo-choo tier. Her ability to do damage and healing in large amounts is just so powerful, especially at the low ranks, where it is okay to support in a very direct way, like healing and damage. In which case, Moira does a lot of it, so she's great. Now, we need to be careful. We don't want to fall into the trappings of focusing too much on one or the other. We don't need to be heal botting, and we don't need to be TikTok Moiraing either. We need to find the balance somewhere. But wherever that balance lies for you, she can do both very easily. Value is guaranteed here, so choo-choo tier for Moira. Lucio is an odd one. So I think we're going to put Lucio in choo-choo tier. He's never a bad choice in bronze, but you can't play him in bronze the way you do anywhere else. You either have to really focus on trying to get as much value from your speed boost as possible, or you want to play around a team comp that sticks around together. I have seen said that despite what seems like an obvious synergy, Lucio and Mauga are actually not super synergistic. I guess I can understand why. In any case, as a hero on its own, on his own, Lucio is an easy S tier. Like the amount of healing he can output when necessary is insane. Speed boost is so good on so many maps, and his damage output is not bad. Those boops matter, and sometimes more than others. But yeah, definitely choo-choo tier. Not highest, but definitely a lot of value for a reasonably little amount of effort, and his survivability is through the roof. Illiari, definitely a good hero. Her healing is still very powerful. They may have nerfed her right click beam a little, and definitely nerfed the turret to a place where I think it's in a good place now. Yeah, no. Hitting the shots is important. It's actually not so forgiving, missing her shots. I should know, I'm not a very good Illiari. But, yeah, no. Consistently strong. The turret does make up for a lot of that, but if you can't hit your shots, you're not going to be getting the best value. So she's a lot of work, but she does get good value. Brigitte. Brigitte is absolutely a must pick. They definitely nerfed her, and she probably needs a slightly higher nerf to her damage output. Her healing is fine. Her damage output can be significantly insane, and it is very difficult, although I don't think it is the issue, but it is very difficult to balance her ult. It really does just dance around being OP and being balanced so often, and the gap between the two is really small. So, no, Brigitte must pick, lots of healing, lots of damage. She does have a difficult time in a lot of matchups, but she works really well in the back line to protect other supports or weak or less mobile DPS in the back line, and she is very good against mobility, so definitely a must pick coming forward. Lifeweaver. So I personally want to put Lifeweaver in choo-choo tier, but I don't think I can. He's very good. His healing, despite the nerf, is still amazing. His tree, though, is insane. I mean, I kind of feel like just for that alone, he kind of has to go in choo-choo tier. He can do a lot of damage, but it's not super consistent to do so. He does a reasonably high amount of healing, but his tree is definitely where all the power is. And since they increased his health pool, well, they increased his barrier pool, so his HP total with barrier is now 225. That is very powerful. It makes up for his large hitbox, which even right now is still very large, even with the reduction in the petals in his back. He does have a lot of mobility, though. He is hard as hell to kill, which is what you want. He cannot have the same kind of ability as Mercy. She is also very hard to kill. We'll look at her in just a moment. But he is extremely difficult to kill, and I think that is what's going to be carrying him. That and his tree is what's going to be carrying him into Choo Choo territory. Otherwise, he'd just be a really powerful yes, which unfortunately I feel is where our girl Mercy is finding herself. Now, don't get me wrong. A good Mercy is invaluable. Res is invaluable. That ult, especially now that they've made it possible to keep boosting or keep healing while you activate your ult, so you don't lose the tether. It's a game changer. She is really just bordering on Choo Choo. The biggest problem in Bronze, in my opinion, is not your own survivability or your ability to heal your allies. I think she's reasonably good and very consistent in that. No. The real problem that Mercy has is that to bring the full value of her kit, your allies have to do well. And you have to also know which of your allies are doing well. I don't feel like that is something you can get consistent value with at Bronze. It's just my opinion, not to say that Mercy isn't a good pick. If you're a good Mercy, pick her, please. She will swing games by herself. But most of the time, she will swing games through someone else, and that is really the hard part here. So we're going to move on. Mercy, I'm so sorry, but you're just going to be in the yes tier for now. Not quite where we'd like you to be, but hey, that's just how it goes. Better to be balanced and not under scrutiny. Which brings us to Baptiste. I think Baptiste undoubtedly is Choo Choo tier. The ability to do so much damage, the ability to do so much healing reasonably consistently is very strong. Yes, you do need good aim for the damage, and you need some aim for the healing, but the fact that he's got vertical mobility with his jump, as well as an insane powerful heal, like that increased healing at lower HP, it is really strong. Even with a nerfed version, it is so powerful. Immortality field is probably one of the, I guess, most problematic in a very niche way abilities in this game. Immortality is a very strange ability that I'm not sure has a place, but it's mostly alright. It is very clutch though. The amount of saves that you can pull with your team as Baptiste is insane. His healing output is no joke, his damage output is no joke, and if you have some decent DPS, your ultimate will win you games. It is uncanny how much Baptiste can do. Unfortunately, I wouldn't say he's the toppest of tier because he does require a bit of aim, so there you do have to put in a bit of work, but considering how much he gets from just existing, I think the requirement is fine. Zenyatta. I want to put him in Choo Choo because Discord is OP, even in its nerfed form, and I am happy to take a fight with a tank at Bronze as Zenyatta. That 25 HP increase, well, 25, actually no, it was HP, right? His barrier stayed the same, he just got more HP, is insane. Discord is nerfed, probably needed it, not how I would have gone about it, but it's an attempt, and it's doing something. It's doing something. You actually get to play around with the idea of vision as the enemy. It's much better. You don't feel constantly oppressed, and with a tank meta coming up, the tanks definitely are happy. So, good pick, strong pick, amazing ultimate, reasonable amount of healing, insane damage, but you do have to put in the work, and you're squishy. I mean, you're much tankier now with just 25 more HP, but yeah, he's not as crucial as needs be. He's good though. Don't get me wrong. Next we have Kiriko, and unfortunately Kiriko, no matter how they change her, she will continue to be Choo Choo tier. The amount of damage she can output, the healing does feel like it's a bit on, or has been on a bit of the lower side for a while. The change to Suzu was very lovely because of that. I was very happy to see that it's gotten a bit of a boost, but she is so hard to kill. She can get to people in ridiculous places. She can be all over the place. The fact that she is the only one that has a cleanse that can be applied to somebody other than themselves is absolutely powerful. When it was just the one anti from Anna, who we will look at next, it was completely different. Suzu's existence would have been broken too much, to the point where Anna may not even be picked. But now that there's two sources of anti, cleanses become this extremely powerful commodity, and sometimes you will lose a game just for not having it. So choo choo train, here we go, because Kiriko's is still sometimes a must include just because of a Junker Queen or an Anna on the opposite team. Bit of a shame. There are teams that can work around it, but 90% of the time you're better off just having a Kiriko on your team. Which brings us to Anna, and here's the problem, right? Anna really should be choo-choo tier, but her aim requirement makes her so difficult to play, so I'm going to leave her at yes. Her sleep is insane. Her ultimate is bonkers, especially now that we're going to have a whole bunch of really strong tanks going in, face planting the enemy team. That nano is going to be invaluable. But at the lowest ranks, anything that adds additional barriers between you and your job, like aim, and the fact that you cannot both do damage and heal, you have to choose, which also means you have to aim right, which is difficult under pressure, and even more so in a game with so much mobility. Anna is one of the least mobile supports. She and Zenyatta probably are matched for being the slowest supports in the game, with the only exception that at least Zenyatta has his ult that speeds him up by 3. But yeah, no, Anna is a very good hero. If you can play her, you will get massive, you have the potential to get massive amounts of value, but she is so hard work. And in fact, I would argue that out of all the supports in this game, Anna is the one that requires the most amount of work. Not only for damage, but as a whole, because for damage purely, I think it's a contest between Illiari, Anna, and Baptiste. When it comes to healing, I think, again, Illiari, Anna, and potentially Zenyatta are going to be, trying to figure out the top 3 for who has it the hardest to get value from their healing. So that was my tier list for supports. As you can tell, it really does feel like DPS is the currently least powerful role to be taking at bronze, but at least I think we have gotten a pretty good baseline for where you want to be and what the kind of picks you want to be focusing on, just to make your own life easier. Once you start climbing, you can play whoever you want, but try to find the heroes that click with your playstyle, and just get to know the characters you play. A one trick will outplay an all-rounder almost every time, but a one trick will have a harder time once they switch. So try to be between the two. Try to know a bit of everything, but have your go-to try-hard hero that you jump to when you need to. It's been me, Bronze Connoisseur, giving you a tier list for Season 8, with Mauga coming up in just under a week now, hopefully to comp, and we'll find out if anything changes. I don't know. I don't think much will change when Mauga comes in, but we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day. Bye!